All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 19th, 2025. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in Digital Land, Podcast Land, Cyberland. Thank you so much for seeing the value in my content. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you to all my members in the room that paying to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored. I hope to bring value to this content. I believe I do. By the way, I do offer free 15-minute coaching for the members and trial members, okay? So if you're not making money in this room, please get with me. Please stop what you're doing if you're not making money and get with me so that we can turn your trading around, all right? So just want to put that out there. You can find me on Skype. It's John Carrigan, same pictures you see up in front of you. Just contact me and we'll get you set up with some coaching. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 560.95. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five are in daily downtrends still. All except Diamond Dow made lower highs and lower lows, closing below bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. Now, Diamond Dow made an inside day, closing inside the bearish trap under the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute uptrend, okay? So we're looking for continuation of that 10-minute uptrend, all right? I'm looking for a candle, a nice green candle, something that's not a topping wick, not a doji, not a spinning top, and I don't want a red candle. All right, so gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Silver made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Gold made a new all-time high. USO in a daily downtrend made an outside day. That's a higher high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. UNG made an outside day as well, closing under a bearish trap under the rising 17 EMA. UNG kind of hot up there, needs to cool off. It could cool off for a couple weeks. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's doing really well where it is. I just think it needs a rest. U.S. dollar index in a downtrend still. We love that. Closed near the 103.25 area. SPY max pain for today, same as yesterday, 565 with a put to call ratio of 1 put to each call that expires today at 4:15. All right, let's go take a look at some charts this morning. And we'll start off with the SPY. Nice consolidation. Yesterday's move, we traded the game plan, which pretty much designed out anything below this area right here, right there at pretty much 564 was a red erases green event. So we traded SPY short down to here, and our day was unknowingly was pretty much over by 11 o'clock for some of us. Done at 10:05, all right? Because after that, nothing else happened. It was nothing but chop and consolidation for about 5 hours straight. You could have ended your day at 10:15 yesterday, all right? So there's SPY on the 5-minute chart. Nice consolidation. Again, you can see on the game plan, we're going to have price action up over this 562 area. That's going to be a bullish entry. Again, we don't want any topping wick candles, anything like this. All right, it's got more wick than it does body and tail. All right, so that's not going to work for me because that shows me bears had more control than bulls. All right, I don't want a spinning top because that's like an equal wick, equal tail. That's going to show me that there's no advantage to the bulls. All right, I don't want a doji because that says pause and rest. All right, so I don't want that because I don't want them resting. I want them moving. All right, so I want a green candle. I just don't want a spinning top. Don't want any red candles because that's showing me bears have control. All right, so I want the right candle, and that will begin my day off over 562 right there. Okay, so right up over the top of this base, looking for the breakout to the upside with a visit back to probably 565. All right, that would put us right here at the beginning of an open gap from yesterday. Now we do have a bearish gap that never got filled yesterday, showing me that bears are still kind of in control here. All right, we did not fly back up there. It looked like we tried several times, so we'll see what happens here. Let's take a look at the game plan. And actually, let's look at the 10-minute chart. All right, on the 10-minute chart, we squeaked out I thought we had a 10-minute uptrend. I guess things changed. So we have a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on SPY. And you can see right here, we were looking for an uptrend. I don't know how I got that wrong, but I guess I did. 10-minute downtrend, I'm still looking for a break over 562. So I'm really not looking for a downtrend, but I will if we get below this area here, 559.67 area. Okay, so yesterday we closed with, my bad, 10-minute downtrend on the 2-hour chart. All right, we have a 2-hour downtrend right here on the 2-hour. You can see the yellow 3 EMA and the price action candle underneath the 8. Okay, so 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, lower high, lower low, closing under. This is be the trap, the space between the yellow and the 8. Closing below the 8, the 3 EMA here puts us below the trap. So closing below the trap. Underneath, see these pink dots, red dots right there. Underneath the red dots right there, that's the falling 17 EMA. And underneath the falling 17 EMA on the daily chart. Now, if we look at this with the quad lines on there, you can see price action is underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's this green line right here. We are underneath the midpoint. That's the green dash line right there. Okay, and underneath the falling 17. So price action from the bigger picture moves up and gives it up. So it's just neutral right here on SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ price action for yesterday. Lower high, lower low, closing under. See the trap right here? That's the space between the yellow line and the white line. Closing below the trap, below the falling 17. That's the red dots. That's the falling 17 EMA. Calling below this pink line. All right, that's the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, and then underneath the dash line right here, that's the midpoint. Down here in the lower third, so that's bearish on QQQ. All right, so let's take a look at QQQ on the game plan. All right, we'll come on over here to the 5-minute chart. All right, and we will revisit the SPY game plan. I don't think we got to the SPY game plan. Okay, so here's QQQ. Here's the nice consolidation that we had yesterday. Total wind-up going on here. I'm expecting probably a $5-6 move with this kind of a wind-up. We do have FOMC at 2 p.m. today. We'll see where that goes. But QQQ, I like for today. 2 days till expiration Friday options. 9 days till expiration Friday options. I like them that far out because I want some time to fix it in case I'm wrong. And there are $2 to $5 out of the money. That's what I like. $2 to $5 out of the money. If you want the very best performing option for today, it's probably gonna give you the best performance. It's gonna be the 0 days till expiration in the money option. All right. So if you want the best performing, you want in the money and 0 days. That'd be nothing left, but it's going to expire today at about 4:15. All right. So that will give you the best performance. Okay. But it's imperative that you have the direction right. If you fail to have the direction right, it could hurt you severely. All right, so there's QQQ on the game plan. So you can see right over the top of this base, 476.10. That's a bullish entry. You can see we're already up there already. So I would want a green candle. All right, again, no topping wicks, no dojis, no spinning tops. All right, and no red candles for my entry. So we're already up there. On the bearish side, underneath these tails down here, okay, under this consolidation there, under 472.90, that would be my bearish entry. Again, down there, if we're down there in the morning time, again, I would not want any bottoming tail candles. No dojis, no spinning tops, and no green candles, all right, to enter in on. All right, I'd want something that says bears are in control and they're bringing it down. Okay, so there's the QQQ game plan. Let's take a look at SPY. All right, here's SPY game plan. Again, I like the same options. 2 days till expiration or 9 days till expiration. They got to be Friday options. I like the Friday options because they got more open interest. All right, we got quadruple witching coming up this Friday. All right, so they got more open interest. All right, more open interest equals more liquidity. So that's why I like Friday options. I like $2 to $5 out of the money, again, because I have a small account that I'm working with, and I don't want to put a whole lot at risk, all right? So I take $2 to $5 out of the money, all right, because that's less risk, but I sacrifice, and I may have less performance, all right? And that makes sense to me to have less risk, all right? Because we're in the business of risk management, money management. At the beginning of my account, all right, I like to enter things with less risk. As time goes on and I get up ahead of schedule, all right, I will move further to at the money or possibly in the money, all right? But I have to be ahead of schedule, and my goal is 1% per day, all right? So I have a schedule where I'm making 1% per day. Now, if I'm ahead of that schedule, all right, I can use the excess above the schedule, and then I can use that in addition to my 1% or 2% that I plan to risk today. All right, that allows me to purchase 0 DTEs or possibly in the money. But right now, at the beginning of my account, as I'm first starting out, all right, I like to have sacrifice a little bit of performance in order to lessen my risk. So I like $2 to $5 out of the money. Again, the very best performing one will be the 0 DTE in the money option. That will give you almost penny for penny performance with the underlying security. All right, so there's SPY game plan. Okay, up over 562, as I mentioned earlier, that's my bullish entry. Bearish entry is underneath 559.60. Okay, nothing but chop and slop here yesterday for over 5 hours right there. Okay, so there's the SPY game plan. Let's go take a look at some other charts. We'll start off with IWM, and we'll pick it up on the daily chart. I got some new members in here, and I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I am honored that you chose me to lead you in your new wealth building plan. I take that seriously. Again, if you're new, I offer free 15-minute coaching, and I encourage you to paper trade at the beginning and learn how to grow your account. After learning how to grow your account, I think it's probably at that point, after you've learned how to grow your paper account, I think maybe slowly introducing real money, all right, might be an option for you. All right, I'm just saying that. I do not want to see people risk real money without seeing that the process works. In other words, I want you to see that the process can work for you. All right, so prove it to yourself that the process works on paper. All right, and then if you're successful, all right, that would be the point that I would start to introduce small increments of real money using the same strategies. All right, so here's IWM. All right, yesterday's candle. I seem lost here. That doesn't look like the right candle. is what I saw. So that is the 17th. That's the, okay, that's right. There's the 18th. Okay, so lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the falling 17. That's the red dots right here. Okay, under the bearish trap, you can see there's a little bit of daylight right in here between the yellow and the white one, and we're underneath it. So that's under the bearish trap. Under the falling 17, again, that's the red dots. We're underneath it. We're underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, that would be the all-time high for IWM. So I anchor a VWAP up there. We're underneath it. That's this pink line here. Okay, we're underneath this uptrend line. We're underneath this midpoint line. The uptrend line is the goal line. The midpoint line is the green dash. Okay, we're underneath all of that. Okay, and there's 4 quadrants. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up here. We're in quadrant 1. This is bearish. All right, we're down here in quadrant 1, so that's bearish. Okay, so there's IWM on the daily chart. We're bearish. All right, we did move up a couple days ago. All right, and that's okay. This is a pullback in a downtrend. You can see price action is making lower lows. Here we have a lower high and a lower low. Okay, so that makes it a downtrend. All right, anytime price moves, price moves up and holds the higher ground, that's bullish. Okay, whenever you see that, that is a bullish environment, a bullish characteristic. All right, when price moves up and gives it up, that's neutral. That's a neutral characteristic. Okay, price moves up, gives it up, and more, that's a bearish characteristic. Okay, price moves down, gives it up, and more, that's a bullish characteristic. Okay, so understand what the chart is doing. Okay, you can see price action moves from the midpoint, the neutral line. Okay, see how it moves up and back and more. That's bearish. Okay, understand what's going on inside the chart. Okay, that's important. You got to understand what's going on so you know what to expect, and you're going to look for trend changes. All right, so that's what I like to do. All right, so these are the characteristics. Up, hold the higher ground, that's bullish. Down, hold the lower ground, that's bearish. That's the hockey stick. That's the dead cat bounce. That's bearish. Okay, these are the price movements. Okay, again, down and back up, that's just neutral. Okay, if you go down and you come back, that's neutral. You go up, you give it up, that's just neutral. Okay, so understand the price action and what is it doing currently. You can see it goes up, gives it up, and more. So that's bearish. All right, so I just want to do a little exercise because I know I got some new people here and I want them to understand what I'm doing. All right, so there's IWM. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow. Again, you can see the price action. It moves up and gives it up. That's neutral. See, it moves up, gives it up, neutral. At one point, okay, price moved up and held the higher ground. See that? Right there. That was a bullish environment. And you play that, then you got what it was called triple top, and then price came back down. All right, so here's Diamond Dow. This is the daily chart. Okay, lower high. Actually, almost an inside day here. All right, so we got a higher low, a lower high, closing, I'm going to call it inside the bearish trap. That's the 3 EMA right here, the yellow line underneath the white line, closing in the bearish trap underneath the falling 17. That's the red dot, 17 EMA. Okay, closing underneath an uptrend line, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. Underneath the midpoint, that's the green dash line right here. You move up, you move back. All right, up, give it up. That's just neutral. Okay, you're down here in the lower third, and that's bearish. So there's Diamond Dow. Last one here, FNGA. Now, those of you that are new to the room here, I follow FNGA. FNGA has 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and the SPY. All right, these 10 are so powerful that when they move as a pack, all right, they have the ability to jerk the QQQ and the SPY with them. All right, so I keep an eye on them because in actuality, you got the S&P 500. It's got about 500 stocks, 500 securities, about. All right, these 10 have the ability to jerk the other 490 with them. In other words, they will move the whole index in the same direction that they're moving when they move as a pack. Okay, they will jerk the index up, even though the other 490 may be falling. All right, so we keep an eye on this FNGA, and it's a ETF. All right, it's got they got 10% of each one, just about, of the top 10 that are weighted inside the QQQ and the SPY. All right, so we follow FNGA because we trade mainly QQQ and SPY on the options because they're highly liquid, they're easy to trade, and they're easy to find. All right, so here's FNGA price action for yesterday. Make sure I got the right candle. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. See, we're under. It's a red candle closed down here. Under a bearish trap. Under the falling 17. That's the red dots. Okay. Under the uptrend line. That's the gold line. The green line. All right. Under this green diagonal line. Under the uptrend line. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right here. Okay, all-time high anchored VWAP. We're under that. We're under the 17. We're under the midpoint. We're in the lower third. Okay, price moves up, gives it up, and more. That's bearish. Okay, anytime we're in the lower third, we're bearish. Okay, so FNGA is bearish. You see price action moves down and over to the right. That is a bearish characteristic. All right, moving down, holding the lower ground is bearish. All right, so there's FNGA. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2122. Price action came out of the buy zone yesterday, and we just made some lower highs and some lower lows inside the buyer's chop zone right here, T2122. So we just chomped around in the buyer's chop zone, but we did hang out over the midpoint. So that's a little bit of bullish activity there. Let's go see if it is replicated on T2123. All right, T2123, you can see we have consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. We have a bullish gap that never got filled. That is a bullish environment. Okay, we did not make any higher highs. Okay, we might have made an equal high over here. All right, but we did not make any higher highs. That is a bullish requirement that kind of is necessary to get bullish. When we fill bearish gaps, you can see here is a gap down. See the space between the candles or the price bars? Not filling any bearish gaps, okay? Not making any higher highs, okay? It's looking good, consolidating over prior consolidation, but we still haven't made any higher highs, so not much to get excited about yet, okay? And if you look at this from a bigger perspective, you have the hockey stick, all right? That is a bearish kind of characteristic. Okay, we're still caught underneath the falling 200 SMA. We're still caught underneath these two green lines, prior all-time highs. Okay, and the all-time high is right up here. Okay, way up there, 637. All right, 637,000. Okay, so Still bearish at this time, although we are displaying some bullish characteristics. All right, something to recognize, pay attention to. Could be seeing a trend change in progress. All right, takes a long time to turn the ship around. Again, 3-bar chart, you can see the hockey stick. That is a bear flag. That is a bearish characteristic. Okay, you go down and you move to the right and you hold the lower ground. That's bearish. Okay, price action underneath the falling 17. Price action underneath a fading 200 SMA. Both of those are bearish characteristics. Underneath, 2 prior all-time highs as well as the all-time high. Making lower highs and lower lows is a downtrend. Okay, we haven't made any higher highs yet. Okay, so T2123, long way off to making a higher high. You can see how much we have to undo. All right, so still bearish overall. Okay, we are displaying some signs of bullishness, maybe a pullback in a downtrend, but that's it so far. Okay, I want to see some higher highs. I want to see some higher lows. I want to see some bearish gaps getting filled. All right, that goes for anything that I want to be bullish. All right, FNGA, price action, yesterday's price action. I'm just going to call it red from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. We had one green candle spike right there. Underneath the 200 SMA, that's not bullish at all when you're under the 200 SMA, a falling 200. We did manage to build up over here. Couldn't seem to hold. This is what I'm talking about. Hold the higher ground. They couldn't hold it. All right. So we got consolidation under prior consolidation, which makes it a bearish outlook. Okay. We don't seem to be melting down yet, but I would look for an event where price gets down below there to possibly come back down and challenge the lows. There's FNGA on the 15-minute chart. Okay, you can see underneath the 17, all those red dots, underneath the red line, that's the 200 SMA. And if I blow it way up, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, underneath the uptrend line, that's a green line. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors. We're going to start off with right there, okay, XLE. This is our energy sector. Energy sector, this is yesterday's candle. See that nice candle right there? No, it's a green one. It's the red one. Okay, see that candle right there? Nice candle. Higher low, higher high. All right, if you're a bull, you like that. Closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA. That's the green dots right here. 1, 2. Over the 17 EMA. Okay. Above, see it closed up here. Downtrend line 1. Above downtrend line 2. Above all-time 12-month high anchored VWAP right here. See that? 12-month high anchored VWAP. Above that. Above the midpoint. If it gets up here in the upper third, okay, that'll be bullish. Right now, just neutral. Okay, it goes up, it gives it up, that's neutral. Okay, and the same thing applies. You go down, you give it up, that's just neutral. Okay, so you go up, you give it up, that's neutral. You go down and you give it up, that's neutral as well. So we're still in neutral land. All right, you got to get in the upper third or the lower third. Lower third to be bearish, upper third to be bullish. And you got to hold the higher ground. Okay, so there's XLE. Currently acting very bullish. All right, up here, over the midpoint, over all of those events, downtrend lines, all-time high, 12-month high anchored VWAP. But we haven't made any higher highs. Okay, need to make a higher high. Now they squeaked out, I'm just going to call it an equal high right here yesterday. Gotta make some higher highs, okay? That's where you show me, that's bullish. I do like it. If it can hold this area up here, that would be very interesting. All right, so there's XLE. All right, just neutral, but acting bullish right now on the smaller time frame. Let's take a look at UNG. That's a high flyer. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Yesterday's price action is a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17. Up here in the upper third, that's bullish. Over this is a 12-month high anchored VWAP, the pink line, over the midpoint, okay? So all of that is bullish right there. UNG probably needs to cool off for another week or so, 2 weeks. USO, yesterday's candle is an outside day. That's a higher high and a lower low. We closed down here. Okay, price action, closing under the trap, under, all right, this 3-year high anchored VWAP. This is post-COVID high right here. See that pink line? Under the 3-month high anchored VWAP, under the goal line, that's the uptrend line. Okay, under the midpoint, okay, that's the dash, green dash line. Okay, down here in the lower third, that's bearish. Okay, again, you're moving down and you're holding the lower ground. That's a bearish characteristic. Okay, going down and holding the lower ground. You go up, you give it up, that's neutral. You go up, you give it up and more, that's bearish. All right, so you can see right there, underneath the 3-year high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line, underneath the uptrend line right there. Okay, it's the gold line. Down here in the lower third, okay, that's bearish. There's USOs. Take a look at precious metals. Start off with GLD. All right, GLD, new all-time high up here. Okay, enough said. Nothing more can be said. It's making new all-time highs. It's bullish. Silver, also bullish up here in quadrant 4. So I'll zoom out so you can see. This is a 12-year high anchored VWAP. Right here, the pink line. We're up over a 12-year high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the rising 17, that's bullish. Over the midpoint, that's bullish, okay? Silver and gold, both bullish. All right, take a look at a few sectors. SMH. All right, here's the semiconductors. All right, lower high, lower low, closing. I'm just going to call it over a bullish trap underneath the falling 17. Underneath pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP, made right there. Okay. Not in the lower third. If it was in the lower third, it'd be bearish. Again, they move down, they give it up, so it's neutral. If they get in the lower third, that's bearish. All right. Right now, just neutral. All right. So we have making lower highs and lower lows is a downtrend. So what we got right now is a pullback in the downtrend. There's SMH. Okay, we'll go look at the cousin to SMH. It's the XLK. That's the technology sector. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the falling 17. That's the red dots. Underneath the pink line, the all-time high anchored VWAP. Underneath the uptrend line, down here at the midpoint, underneath the midpoint, that's just neutral. All right, so XLK, neutral right there. In the lower third, that makes it bearish. Okay, not quite there. I'll zoom out, you can see that. Okay, so there's XLK. That's our technology sector. Okay, we're going to take a look at the financial sector. Okay, price action for the financial sector yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish cross. Under, okay, under the falling 17, that's the red dots. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line. Okay, up here in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, they're holding the upper third, so we're going to call it bullish up here. Same way as if it was in the lower third, it'd be bearish. Okay, again, they move down and they give it up. All right, so we're back up here to bullish. All right, so there's XLFs. Take a look at IYT. Transports, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. under a falling 17, that's the red dots. Under the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line. Under the uptrend line, see, that's the gold line. Under the midpoint, that's the green dash. Okay? Down here in the lower third, that's bearish. Again, when price structure, okay, moves up, gives it up, that's neutral. You move up, you give it up, that's neutral. You give it up and more, that's bearish. Okay? That's what price is doing. Making lower highs and lower lows. It's a downtrend. Okay? It's always important to understand what is price doing. When it moves up and holds the higher ground, that is a bullish. That is the ultimate. That's the, I want to find that. I want to trade that. And that's why I like silver so much. Okay? Up here in quadrant 4. All right? So, see that? You move up and you're holding this higher ground up here. All right? I like that. See, before they moved up, they held it for 5 or 6 days and they gave it up. All right? Then they moved up here and they held it for 10 days and then they gave it up. Okay? Now they're up here in quadrant 4 making a higher high. That's bullish. Okay? Can they hold it for 10 days or more? All right? And then attack this 12-year high right up there. That's what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at the last one, IYT. All right, IYT, this is our transports. I don't know if I did it. I'll do it again. Lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint. That's bearish. All right, let's take a look at our economic package. All right, for max pain for today is 565. For the SPY, max pain is 565. About 1 put to every call. All right, so not much of a put squeeze happening there. This is only for the calls and puts that expire today at 4:15. Max pain is 565. All right, let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar's in a downtrend. We like that. And we'll come back to that. Doesn't want to cooperate. All right, for today, main event is this for this week is today at 2:30 and actually at 2 o'clock. FOMC is going to make their announcement discussing unemployment or employment along with inflation. All right, their job is to keep the economy rolling. All right, and suppress inflation. So they're going to make an announcement at 2 p.m. I don't think they have much to say other than they're going to continue to be hawkish. All right. Eggs have come down, so I hear. All right. And then inflation, CPI and PPI last week were relatively tame. All right. So I don't really foresee FOMC doing anything except maybe a whisper of a rate cut. That might spark the market. Just saying. If they whisper thinking about a rate cut, that would be nice. I don't think they'll do that. I think they're going to say we're going to continue to remain hawkish. Anyways, MBA mortgage applications come out at 7 today, so they're already out. Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10 today. Petroleum report at 10:30. The main event, FOMC at 2, and then at 2:30, they're going to come out with a little press conference to discuss what they just released at 2 p.m. All right, tomorrow, jobless claims, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, 8:30, both of those. All right, existing home sales 10, leading indicators 10, gas report at 10:30, and a light day. On Friday, quadruple riching and a rig count at 1. All right, so they have 4 different type of options going to be expiring on Friday. That's why they call it quadruple riching. Okay, let's go back to the dollar to see if they can juice that up. Well, let's just refresh it. All right, here we are with the dollar. See, the dollar makes lower highs. There's a high. Lower highs, lower lows. It's a downtrend. Lower high, lower low. That's a downtrend. Minor support. See these two peaks? That's minor support. We broke some minor support. Okay, I like to see price get below. See this little valley of price right here, underneath the hand? We get below that, then there's a good chance price falls all the way down here to test the breakup candle low. All right, so I'd like to see price. See how this is holding, this area is holding right now. Okay, they're not bouncing. They're actually got like a dead cat bounce or the hockey stick. They're bear flagging at this time. Eventually, if you linger in here too long, you get a meltdown, and we could be coming down here to visit this breakup candle low, and that would be huge. We like a weak dollar because it makes our goods and services more competitive and more affordable when we sell to foreign nations. All right, so we like a weak dollar. All right, if you're a consumer, you want a strong dollar. All right, but if you're a vendor, all right, and you're selling goods and services, you want a weak dollar. All right, so there's that. Let's take a look at earnings reports. All right, we're on Wednesday. Okay, we got some familiar names going to be reporting. All right, but nothing here that's going to move the markets. Again, Prudential, General Mills, all right. Nothing that's really big enough to move the markets there. Thursday, we got Accenture, 202 billion. They're gonna that's a lot of market cap right there, 202 billion. Okay, they're gonna report Thursday morning. PDD Holdings, 174 billion. They report along with Accenture. In the evening, Micron Technology, that's tech. Tech usually reports in the evening, 113 billion. That's tomorrow night after 4. All right. Nike going to report along with tech, 108 billion. Okay. They're going to report tomorrow evening. Okay. Friday. All right. We got Carnival Cruise, Neo. All right. Some familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. All right. For Friday, nothing going to move the markets. All right, just some familiar names. You've heard of Carnival before and Neo. All right, Monday, again, more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. All right, so it's going to be smooth sailing right after this FOMC announcement. All right, that's it for me. I will take a break, and I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. I got to render my video so others can see it. I'll see you in about 30 minutes. If you have a question, post it up down there. I see some questions. Hold on. Let me see what we got here. Possible question. Rose, has anyone had problems with Ninja Trading in the morning? That's Sarah. Hey, good morning, Mike, Sarah, Liv, Rod, Roasted, Rickster, Whisper of Tariffs, creating a headwinds. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Lost sound, Chip lost sound. Mike, all good now. All right. But I got it recorded. All right. So